Hey everyone, Dave Hawkins over here, aka Token Dave, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by. And welcome to another edition of the Token Topics. Here, I talk about one subject matter for a brief period of time. Keep in mind that everything that I state in the Token Topics are my biased opinion. This is nothing to state in fact. These are just conclusions that I've come to after things that I've read, heard, seen, observed through other people's actions, and basically that's it. All right. Remember a couple years ago when there was a huge controversy about Americans whitewashing Asian characters? I mean, come on. The Death Note movie, Ghost in the Shell movie, and, Doctor Strange. Yeah. I wonder how those people would feel if they found out that Japan was partaking in that practice. Let me explain. See, a couple of days ago, I actually was on my personal YouTube account, and I follow someone named Chocolate Geisha. And Chocolate Geisha actually did a video on Naomi Osaka's whitewashing. Now, for those that don't know, Naomi Osaka is a tennis player that defeated Serena Williams in the US Open last year amidst some controversy. Though that controversy had nothing to do with, Osaka-san's athletic ability, because from what I hear, she was kicking Serena's ass. Anywho, so Naomi Osaka is a hafu, which is Japanese for someone that's Japanese and half Japanese, half another ethnicity. And she's a particularly interesting hafu because she's half Japanese, half Haitian. To top it off, she lived in the United States the vast majority of her life, and she's living in Japan right now. She has dual citizenship. So they actually are looking up to her a lot in Japan since she beat Serena Williams for the US Open on basically she's like a big athletic hero in Japan, and she signed a deal with Nissin, a ramen noodle company, and they did a commercial of her. But the commercial, which was an animated commercial, had her as being Caucasian. Now, I did a couple of videos last year around this time, which is very ironic. It's also ironic that I'm back in my Japanese lessons after my back injury last year. Anyway, so it seems like this is the second time Japan has a bit of a race issue when it comes to African Americans and blacks. I'll put that link down below. But at that time, I had a different opinion, a more lenient opinion. Now I'm a little more harder, because I've spent majority of last year reading the Japan Times and following YouTubers whom are African Americans or other black descents living in Japan. And oh god. So yeah, she got whitewashed. Japan Times ran with it, and not only did the Japan Times run with it, but the Guardian newspaper ran with it, and it was a huge uproar. And actually, after seeing it and after getting the negative feedback, Nissan actually dropped the ad. Actually, the official spokesperson for Nissan actually stated, and I quote, give me a second. Daisuke Okabayashi. That's my sensei's name, Daisuke. Anyway, Daisuke Okabayashi stated that the ads have been dropped. We never had intended to do what is known as whitewashing, but this is becoming an issue. We will pay more attention to respect for diversity in our PR activities. Now, that's Nissan. The issue goes beyond just one publication because, after listening to a few African black folk that live in Japan, Japan has a bit of an issue where it comes to blacks in the media. Like if you look at anime, their characters are usually drawn like Caucasians because there's an Asian belief where something that is dark physically is usually, a sign of something that's mischievous or evil. And we don't have the best representation in Japanese media from what I've heard, not only from, people on the internet, but some of the people that actually lived in Japan and that are actually going back and forth, And another example I have to give is basically somebody from YouTube named Piggles the Gaijin, a Jamaican guy that lives in Japan. He brought up something fairly interesting, that not only was that whitewashing kind of bad, but all of the trailers for Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse did not show Miles Morales at all. His name is mentioned in the commercial. They made sure to show Peter Parker, but they did not show Miles Morales. And he said the Japanese people are going to be very surprised when they see what happens with the Spider-Verse. And that's the thing. With Naomi Osaka's whitewashing, people were saying that it's no big deal. They were just trying to draw it as people could see themselves in Japan, And the thing is, that's something that shows a bit of a bias against darker people, because you have somebody that's a hafu that, made a huge accomplishment and is actually trying to be a symbol for Japan. And you're taking away that symbol to that small minority of people. And, another person from that got interviewed by a YouTube channel called The Black Experience in Japan, Sondey. Sondey actually stated in his interview that someone in Japan said that when he first met him, he was scared of him. He thought black people were like, evil or like, were going to hurt them. But Sondey changed his thinking, which is a good sign. And Sondey explained about how blacks in the media are portrayed, Bobby Ologon or Bob Saget and Dante Carver. Dante Carver being the most popular and the only black positive influence in Japan, for media and entertainment. But, 2019 and Japan still hasn't come with the times. Now, mind you, they're slower than most places. It's still an Asian country. But Japan and South Korea are more open and more connected to a larger world than some of the other Asian countries. So, I am not going to excuse this one as much, because from what I'm reading, what I'm hearing, they have a problem with, black representation in positive lights. Agree? Disagree? Please drop me a comment below, give me a like, follow me on Facebook at Token Dave, or on Twitter and Instagram at Token Dave 80. Subscribe and ring that bell so you know when a new video loads. But until then, this has been Token Dave, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by, and I'll catch all of you later.